Hey UConn Nation, it's KK Arnold here. If you're looking for the latest UConn women's basketball content, go subscribe to Listen Up to Phil and Ryan. Go Huskies!
So much for recording at nighttime. That's my fault, Ryan. Phil and Ryan, listen up. We want to first of all congratulate Amari DeBerry. Who else, Ryan? Reagan Beers. I'm sure you're well aware of that, and along with everybody else in UConn, your takeaways from that. Not only that, though, uh, we have a lot to go over tonight, and we hope everyone catches this in the morning if they are sleeping. Matter of fact, Ryan, listen to this. According to ESPN, all college basketball transfers must be in the portal by May 1st. More names could be added between now and then. So, but I think the big deadline has hit, Ryan. You told me that you turned the calendar from April to May. Happy May 1st as we continue listen up this beautiful journey. And boy, did they come through a lot of comments to go over at the end of this video.
Well, there's certainly been a lot of moves, so I'm sure we'll miss a couple. So if you guys think we missed any names we should have mentioned in this video, let us know in the comments, and please like, subscribe. If you haven't already, the support, like you said, has been incredible the past 2 months, really. So, of course, as always, we can't thank everybody enough for continuing the support. But the first name I want to start with tonight is obviously the most important, the newest Yukon Husky, Caitlin Chen. Of course, the last video we already had an episode talking about her, but like I said in that video, I think she's going to be a perfect 1 year fit, good replacement for Nika. But unfortunately, with that good news we received, a couple days later, we learned Reagan Beers committed to Oklahoma and not UConn. So that was a missed opportunity for UConn, but Beers does stay close to home in Oklahoma, and I'm sure she'll be a great player for the Sooners. And staying on topic of UConn, this past week, Amari DeBerry committed to the Maryland Terrapins. The Terps have actually acquired 6 players from the portal, also including Sailor Poppenbarger, and they just actually added Christina Dulce today. So Brenda Freese and Maryland stacking up on players, especially the bigs, and hoping to have a bounce back season this year. Also, Ines Betancourt committed to Gonzaga. Congrats to her. I think that's a very good fit for her. I know the Zags lost a couple players to the draft, maybe to the portal. So I hope Ines gets playing time there, and hopefully we can see her ball out with Gonzaga. Moving on to some other schools, how about the USC Trojans getting the potential #1 pick in next year's draft? Former Stanford forward Kiki Arifin commits to USC to team up with Juju Watkins. And 2 days after that, USC also lands former Oregon State guard Talia Van Olenhoffen. So the Trojans might be very, very dangerous again next season. Definitely a team to watch out for. Haley Van Lith also made it official that she is, in fact, committing to TCU. Interesting choice, in my opinion. TCU did not make March Madness last year, but HVL will definitely be the leader for them now and hopes to lead the Horned Frogs to the top in a very, very tough Big 12 conference. And we also had Georgia Moore leaving Virginia Tech to follow her coach to Kentucky. UCLA gets a replacement for Charisma Osborne and Carlise Leaguer Walker. And they also got Tamea Gardner today, actually just a couple hours ago, I believe. So UCLA might be another team to watch out for next season as well. Iowa Hawkeyes also added Lucy Olson, former Villanova Wildcats. So trying to replace some players they lost to the draft. And there's a lot of other players and teams that made significant moves, but we might be here for about an hour trying to talk about every single player and team that made some moves. And also, lastly, I'd like to point out some names that are also still on the portal. Some pretty big names: Deja Kelly, Janiah Barker, and Liza Carlin are a couple big names that are still in the transfer portal.
All right, so I want you to tell me. I'll go first. Out of all the names that you just gave me, Haley Van Lith. Now, aside from UConn, of course, that's obvious. We carry a UConn women's basketball podcast, right? We understand that. We covered the moves, the Caitlin Chen video. We try to cover everything that comes out of UConn, right? With that said, stepping outside of the box for just a minute, um, the biggest name that you mentioned, in my opinion, I want you to tell me the same thing. The biggest name, just take a second to think while I tell you. And you can go with the same one. That's fine. I just want to get your take on this. And everybody else, leave your comments like you always do. A beautiful job under this video in the comments section. You tell us. In my opinion, I think the biggest name, and another small reason why I'm saying this, I saw kind of a disrespectful comment. I mean, this person was saying, I don't even know who it was now. This person, I remember reading it on one of our videos. I'm getting so tired of hearing about Haley Van Lith, they said. And I had to take a step back for a minute, Ryan, earlier today, and I thought, out of this transfer portal that we just experienced, what, over the last, I don't know how many weeks it's been. Time flies, right? And I'm thinking to myself, man, that's a big name to watch for. And you're right. You hit it on the spot. TCU, not where I thought she would land, but you got to remember, Van Lith, Ryan, she averaged about 11.6 points and about 3.6 assists per game with LSU this past season, right? This past season. And that's thanks, shout out to the New York Post for that information. This past season, 11.6 points and 3.6 assists. That was her scoring total. Her scoring total was down, Ryan, from the previous year at Louisville, where she averaged 15.4 points per game. So as soon as she hit the transfer portal, there was all that talk about, man, Van Lith, it started to pour out then about it just, in other words, this comment I read about hearing about Van Lith, right? Not, or they're tired of hearing about Van Lith. I mean, I get it. She's not in UConn and she probably never will be, but I'm not tired of hearing about Van Lith. You know why, Ryan? Because in my opinion, and this is out of respect. This is out of all due respect. In my opinion, she didn't really perform the way I thought she would when we had that video about her transferring to LSU when they were so called the super team, right? When we had those videos last year, she didn't really produce like I thought she would. I'm sorry, And again, I think she's better than that. And Flau'jae Johnson is right. She had Haley Van Lith back all the way just a day ago. I saw it, and I like that. Johnson had a lot of people's backs on that team, right? Because LSU players getting criticized all season long for what? For going out there and playing basketball, right? So, man, look, when you talk about Van Lith going to TCU with kind of an unexperienced head coach in Mark Campbell, now he's had that experience when you talk about when he started in 2010 against Oregon State as an assistant. But he's only had, Ryan, 2 gigs as a head coach, and that was with Sacramento State. And in 2023, he went to TCU. I'm sorry, I get it. You're telling me that it's a I don't know if you would call it a losing team, but TCU maybe not on the map like a lot of other teams are. But that's not going to stop me from telling you Haley Van Lith. That's my player on the radar.
Well, I definitely don't disagree. Like you said, Van Lith definitely had a down season. She was killing it in Louisville, and of course, transferred to LSU. Obviously, not a bad move, but I think everybody with the Tigers, especially Van Lith and Morrow, the season didn't quite go the way they wanted it to last year. I'm not really surprised she entered the portal yet again either. But like I said, little surprise with TCU. But I think she should do a little better there. Like I said, she'll definitely be the leader and kind of, I think, step into a similar role like she was when she played with Louisville. But for me, I kind of hate to go with kind of the number one ranked player that entered the transfer portal for my most important name, if you will. But I'm going to go with Kiki Arifin, and not just because she's probably ranked the best player on most of the lists out of all these women that did enter the portal. But I just think it's so huge with her. And she's only a junior too, so I believe she still has 2 seasons left now with USC. But with her teaming up with Juju Watkins, and just a couple days ago, them also getting Talia Van Ohoffen, which previously she played for Oregon State. So with those big three now, I think USC is going to be really, really good this upcoming season. I think they're going to be a tough team to beat. And I think Juju and Kiki are going to mesh pretty well out there in USC. So I think that move to me what was probably the biggest one. I was really surprised. Not really surprised she went to USC, but just surprised at the amount of talent that USC now has, because Juju is killing it as a freshman. So as she enters her second year, and now again getting 2 really talented players to go with her, I really think the Trojans with Kiki Arifin are going to really be a team to watch out for.
Yeah, you speak about teams. I think we already pretty much are aware of the teams on the radar. But yeah, I like your take on that. But individual performances, look for Haley Van Lith to really step up. I mean, lead, and you're right, the leader of this team now. It's a given. But again, you got to produce, and I don't want to hear it. How about Ryan? Are you buying the talk that, of course, Van Lith had a lot of great moments at LSU. Let's not forget that. But Van Lith, look, Ryan, they said Van Lith struggled on defense at LSU, particularly. I want to point this out, particularly in the Tigers' 94-87 loss to Caitlin Clark and Iowa in the Elite Eight. Who is going to not struggle against Caitlin Clark? I mean,
Yeah.
come on. Are you really going to sit here and buy that, Ryan, that Van Lith struggled? Come on. Come on.
Well, I hate to keep, bigging up UConn, but this is a UConn podcast, and I think
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
the only player that I've seen kind of slow down Caitlin Clark was Nika Mule when we did play him in the Final Four. But yeah, it's definitely a tall task for anybody to try to guard Caitlin Clark. But of course, it was on a big stage. Van Lith definitely did struggle. What was, of course, wasn't her best year with the Tigers, but I really do hope she does have an up year with TCU in her last ride as a college player, I believe. So yeah, I hope she plays good with the Horned Frogs, and hopefully, like I said, hopefully they can reach the top in the Big 12 conference.
All right, let's go over to some comments, Ryan, and then we will get on out of here. Phil and Ryan again on Listen Up. Let's jump back inside the box, right? On UConn talk. Again, this is biggest takeaways right now, biggest takeaways from the 2024 transfer. If I can get my words out right tonight, transfer portal, Ryan. And it was, again, a hot portal, right? A hot portal this year, just like last year. And we expect it to just keep on heating up every year down the stretch. Let's go over to some comments, Ryan, from the Caitlin Chen commits to UConn Huskies video and see what Ryan thinks. Who else better to start out than Jason D'Amico? There is going to be some serious competition during the preseason. I'm looking forward to seeing the drama. Peace. Oh, and we can't wait to break it down on the videos, right? Let's get some highlights rolling this year, Ryan, of Gino clapping his hands at the girls inside the gym, at the young ladies, right?
Yeah, I think we're all excited to kind of watch the drama during these summer workouts. Yeah, I think it's a good thing to kind of have some competition. Of course, I think there's always a lot of competition within the UConn Huskies preseason, and not preseason, I guess, but off season, summer workouts, and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's good to have some competition and kind of have to fight it and earn your way into a starting role, or kind of earning your minutes. So I think it's a good thing for everybody on the team to battle with each other, in practice and in these off season workouts. Yeah, I think it benefits everybody.
Phil and Rye, I like the addition of Chen, but I would really like to see a player dominate the boards, such as ex Husky Tina Charles. She was a beast.
Well, unfortunately, we can't get Tina Charles back, and unfortunately, we did miss out, like I said, on Reagan Beers. So, I'm not really sure of too many, I guess bigs still in the transfer portal, but I'm sure there are still a couple out there, and I would assume that Gino and the coaching staff and everybody are still searching to fill this last roster spot. I can't see how they would get another guard in the transfer portal, so I would only assume they're trying to look for a center slash forward to try to fill this last roster spot out.
Sarah Strong needs to get fit. They don't need Chen.
Well,
But
I think
at first part, you don't have to worry about Strong being out of shape because let me tell you, all I have to tell you is welcome to UConn, right?
no, no, I think UConn's definitely going to get Sarah Strong ready to go and compete this season. I don't think we have to worry about anybody being ready for the season when they come to UConn. But I think there's a lot of, it's either we needed Chin, or we don't need Chin.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty split. It seems like in the comments, but. Like we both said, I don't think you can really ever have enough depth at one position. So I think Chen, it was a good signing for UConn. I'm glad she committed, and I think she'll be a good addition, and hopefully she can prove us why she was a good addition during this season.
Now this one gets the emotions flowing here. Let me tell you. Lindsay Matthews says, I never thought about this, right? We'll have to get in touch with the one that runs the sticks in the background, and that's Austin. We appreciate him a lot. And maybe get a promo going, Ryan. That's totally up to you on this. Lindsay Matthews says, now, Phil, why don't you, Ryan, and I make a visit to UConn? I'll meet you at the UConn ice cream parlor. I think the students make the ice cream. I was there last summer and oh my gosh, it was just too wonderful. And Ryan, I think we passed that. But I tell you, let me tell you what, man. First of all, how would it be to meet all these amazing people? Just announce Phil and Rye at the ice cream parlor, right? That's number one. Second of all, why don't you go ahead and tell them a beautiful big box came to your front door this morning and you told me what was inside. And that
Yeah,
and that and that's appreciation to the one of the big reasons because they keep coming through, Ryan.
yeah, well, I think that'd be a great idea to, if we could set something up like that, I would love to do a little meet and greet inside an ice cream parlor. Why why not? I think that sounds like an amazing idea. We can
Yeah.
all try some ice cream together and have a good time. We might have passed it. We probably did while we were down there, but yeah, received a big cardboard box, a beautiful cardboard box of all new, brand new Listen Up shirts. So we will definitely be giving them away. Not sure when yet, but very, very soon we will start
Yeah.
giving them away.
Maybe we're not going to mail them after all. Giveaways like we had planned. Maybe some of them, but now Lindsay Matthews gave us a great idea. Just ship the whole box, take the whole box, Ryan, throw them in your trunk, and drive up to UConn. Right? It's that easy. Hey, a couple more, Ryan. How about this one? I love the well, if I can find it now. Let's go over to this person. We a great team to make a run for a championship. Everybody keeps talking about needing Reagan, which is not a need, but a plus. We have a 6'5" center with a long wingspan, Yana Al Alfi, who plays aggressive and is a hooper as she can extend it from the 3 point. We are loaded and stacked. We are ready to play for that 12th natty. Let's go. We have the one of the deadliest backcourts with these players shooting efficiency. And you know what? I agree with this person, Ryan, because look, since it's official now, Reagan Beer's not going to UConn. This person acts like the season is like here, like tomorrow night, right? I love it. I love it.
Well, I wish it was, but yeah, like I said in the previous episode, before we got Chin, and when we still had two open roster spots, I think that the team was already ready to compete for a championship. I think we already had enough talent, and I like the way they put it. Kalen Chin is not a need but a plus, and I think that's probably a better way to put it. But yeah, I think we already obviously have a lot of talented forwards on this team, a lot of young talented players that were unfortunately injured last season or didn't get a lot of playing time. So I think we'll definitely see them and Ayanna Patterson, Yana El Alfie are definitely two of those big names that come to mind, and hopefully Ice Brady can also have another really big season for UConn or an even bigger season for the Huskies. And of course, now Sarah Strong. So already a lot of other names that we have, but it would be nice to fill that last roster spot with possibly an experienced forward.
So many great comments, guys. Let's read Ryan off one more, and then I will just read like 100 at one time. Kind of like the fireworks going off right at the end. Ryan, the what do they call it? I can't even think of the word now. The let's go over to one more. This one is grand finale is what I mean. July 4th. We should, by the way, we should go down to Baker Park and just have like a live podcast set up. UConn Huskies. They'll talk about Frederick Baker Parker's. So people that are not familiar, here I go way off track. Sorry for the late podcast, right? When everybody tunes in tomorrow. Baker Park is where they set up. They had big 4th of July, right, Ryan, every year up here where we live in Frederick, Maryland. But boy, would that not confuse him, huh? To see, a nice tablecloth set up and a UConn podcast live from Baker Park on the 4th of July. And everybody would think they'd be walking in UConn. Let's go over to Adam Evans. We haven't heard from him for a while. We hope he's doing good. I think Gino needs to spread the minutes around a little bit better this year, or this is interesting, or we may lose some of this incredible depth to the portal. Oh, well, you got to remember that happens a lot, Ryan, in sports because when you win, you're not keeping them all, especially nowadays when we have this portal, right?
Well, unfortunately, that's part of it, and that's part of the business, unfortunately, and it's definitely gotten more and more popular each and every new year now. So, yeah, and we've seen it in the past couple years as well, and this season also with Amari and Ines. So, I think it's really tough, like I said, on Gino and everybody, trying to get everybody minutes, but like I said before, it's impossible to get everybody equal minutes on the team. It's just not how it works, unfortunately. So, like I said, there's so many talented women on this team, and unfortunately, not everybody can get an equal amount of minutes. And it's just part of the business sometimes that some of these great players do, unfortunately, decide to leave the program and go elsewhere.
Hey, if you have any ideas, everybody send them. Blow the mailbag up, Ryan, right? And send them emails to Ryan and hop on it. Any ideas for a podcast video? We will bring out a video just for you guys. So let's hear your voices. Let's hear what you have to say, especially now. I don't want to say it's slow, but I mean, Ryan, it is the off season. Sealed Cassettes, Ryan, he got back to us, or she, or this person, I should say. They said you guys rock, great show. We appreciate that a lot. And then Ryan, this last one. How about Troy Jackson? Stores is a beautiful campus. I miss it so much. Yeah, that's for sure. We miss it already. And then Amari to Maryland. This person said Amari to Maryland is great. D1, the Big Ten Conference. Coach Freese, sometimes good things happen to good people. Wishing you an amazing young woman the very best. Yeah, Ryan. I mean, I talked to somebody today, and we can't wait to get a hold of the media passes to go down and say hello to Amari DeBerry. I know Ryan's face will light up that first night when that happens. And I'll leave you off with this. I love Flau'jae Johnson. I've never said it a lot to you, Ryan, but just the way she approaches the game and has a lot of her teammates' backs and just people's backs in general, right? Love Flau'jae Johnson. And I'll leave you with this. One of her posts 4 days ago. I'll never respond to the hate I get and give too much love. She said, I'll never respond to the hate I get and give too much love. Y'all be safe, though. Ryan, be safe on this beautiful Wednesday night. Phil and Ryan, listen up.